It is an honor to introduce my friend, Rebecca Marshburn, who heads up community at Common Room, the intelligent community growth platform that empowers community, DevRel, and go-to-market teams to better engage their members and measure the impact of their work. Rebecca leads their Uncommon community. Okay, love what you all did there. A lively space for community builders to share best practices and gain expertise. Rebecca's talk is sponsored by Disco, and she's got tales about the user journey from community to customer. Rebecca, my homie, it is yours.
Hey, thank you so much, Victoria and Francisco, the whole led by community. So many of you have done so much work, Valentina, Ruthie, to bring this all together. So first, thank you. Thank you to everyone who is here today listening. Thank you to all the speakers who have come before and are coming after. Really excited to be here. Really excited about this whole agenda. I feel really honored. Also, thank you to whoever is at Spotify DJ. Really, really just bring in the vibes. It is 7:55 in the morning here where I am in PST, and those vibes were just right. I was so excited. I'm so amped. Okay, so let me make sure. Can y'all see my screen appropriately in terms of, wow, thank you. Okay, so let me share this. I have done this wrong a few different times when I've been giving these presentations. And so I just want to make sure, Victoria, I'm going to give you like 5 seconds to come on if you don't see this correctly. How are we doing? Okay, I'm imagining that you're all seeing my slides. And if you're not, just let me know, because I've definitely given like a 5-minute talk where someone's like, you're still on slide 1. So it's really great to be here. Thank you. Like, Community Everywhere 2024, apparently I'm living 1 year in the future. I'm just seeing this now. So I can't wait to do this again next year. But really glad to be here. We're going to be talking about from community to customer, a peek at the whole user journey. And there's actually going to be a little bit of a twist, honestly, and we'll get there. So as Victoria said, I am Rebecca Marshburn, the head of community at Common Room. You can find me at Becca Odley. You can DM me anytime in the Uncommon community Slack. Common Room. So we are the modern customer journey platform, or the intelligent community growth platform, which is the tagline that we were using to describe ourselves to people, even just as of a month ago. And so one of my greatest joys here is after working here for 3 years and being with this community, building this with this community, stewarding our community, is that I've gotten to evolve so much, not only as the community has evolved, but as the product has evolved, as our features have evolved, as our team has evolved, as our company has evolved, as honestly the industry and the market has evolved. And so we are the modern current customer journey platform, and that's how we like quickly bill ourselves now, because we bring community product, CRM data, LMS data, support ticket data, like all this data together into one place, give you insights on it, and then allow you to take action. And so let's talk journeys. And so when I started putting this talk together, I really started to get a little nervous, because I was like, this feels so much like the talk that I gave at CMX Shine just a month ago. And I didn't want to re-give the talk, right? I didn't want to be like, cool, if you saw that talk, here you are. And please, if you didn't see it, I totally invite you to watch it. I really enjoyed giving that talk. It was really amazing to be there with so many community and DevRel leaders. But for those of you who maybe are here again, I wanted to be able to approach the talk from a different point of view. So instead of the journey that begins with us as community and developer relations leaders, I wanted to actually begin with the journey of the marketing and sales team, or that GTM leader. And so I wanted to start this talk from the journey from the other side of who our customers are. And so who are the marketing and sales GTM leaders that we're talking to as future prospective customers or customers today? Well, they are economic buyers inside of our ideal persona. And so these are terms that we use at Common Room and within Common Room, but you might have different terms for them. You might say ideal customer profile. You might say, target buyer. But basically this means an economic buyer, right, is someone who has that ability to sign the check to acquire new technology or a new product. And an ideal persona means there's someone that is, in the right industry, at the right organization size, at the right team size, has the right goals, or is looking for the similar solution that your product offers. And so I really wanted to talk about this journey from community to customer from these folks in our community, from these GTM leaders. Maybe it's your CRO, Chief Revenue Officer. Maybe it's your COO, Chief Operations Officer. Maybe it's your CEO. Maybe it's your CMO, right? The Chief Marketing Officer. But those folks who are really at the final leadership seat that are ultimately saying, here's where the business needs to go, and here's what we want each of these organizational functions to drive. And so before we go anywhere, I want you to take a moment and put yourself in their shoes. So imagine that you are that CEO, that CMO, that CRO, that COO, or maybe you're just, not just, maybe you're that leader of marketing, right? You're that demand, you roll up into the demand gen leader, into the growth leader, into the marketing leader. Maybe it's not at the C-suite, but you're in their shoes. You're in your boss or your boss's shoes, right? And you're thinking about the types of things that they want to drive. So generally on that GTM side, as we know, the majority of community and DevRel teams roll up into, on that GTM side, they're looking for surfacing great leads, value-aligned leads that ultimately end up driving revenue, like signing that contract, acquiring your product, adopting your product, and building that sustainable revenue stream for your business because they're getting value out of your product. So put yourself in their shoes, right? They're hoping to have contextual conversations based on who these leads are that drive acquisition and revenue for the business. They're the economic buyer and the ideal persona that is looking for a solution similar to what your product is. So now that you're there, I'm actually going to give you the pitch or walk you through some of the pitch, right? So this way, when you are sitting in those shoes of that boss or that boss's boss or that leader who is looking at these organizational level goals, you can understand how it is that we're speaking to them, how we're speaking to our future customers, because we've talked to our customers, we've talked to them, we've talked to our community members in terms of what they're looking for, what they're trying to solve. And so we've built this pitch deck based on their needs and what we're hearing. So that means we've built this pitch deck based on the needs of the leaders that you report to at those GTM executive level or high level decision-making seats at the table. So welcome to our pitch. Here you are, Madame, Monsieur, CMO, COO. The B2B buyer journey has changed. It used to be, someone visited your pricing page, your how it works page, or maybe they created a support ticket, or maybe they responded to an email or signed up for a webinar, submitted a form, and then you either booked a meeting or you didn't. It was pretty simple. But we know that there are now more signals than ever before, right? People are posting in around your ecosystem, around the industry, comments on Reddit or Stack Overflow. They are they're going through your onboarding flows in Discord, right? They are joining your Slack. They're asking questions. They're sharing content. They are liking things or commenting on LinkedIn. They're resharing things on Twitter. There are so many things, there's so many signals that are out there today that your prospective buyer, your future customer is interacting with than ever before. And so this report from McKinsey & Company, right? B2B buyers have doubled the number of channels they use on average from 5 years ago to 10 in 2021. And that has only proliferated to today. And what does this do for your GTM and especially your selling teams, right? So that poor visibility, that distribution, that wide distribution of all those signals and channels are totally impacting pipeline potential. So in a recent Salesforce report, a sales rep today now uses 10 tools to close a deal and spends 72% of their week on non-selling activities. So that means they are trying to wrangle data together, right? They're looking at social channels and being like, hey, did they ask a question here? They're looking at product usage. When did they log in? What did they do when they logged in? What does it seem like they're trying to solve? They're looking at our community activity, understanding like from the communities that we stored, right? They're like, have they asked a question? Did they get replies? Which teammate has already replied to them? Was it resolved? Are they talking about a larger like industry-wide philosophy? Are they looking for new ways or ideas for breaking into a new product space? So these sales reps, right, are really spending a lot of time not doing selling activities, and then they're unsure of where to focus their time, and then they ultimately end up having really poor context across the buyer journey or the potential buyer journey. And so this is why we built Common Room. We originally built Common Room to solve this for community leaders, right? For leaders like me, for DevRel leaders, for leaders like you, where it's like, okay, what are all these signals, right? What is our engagement in the community? Who is in our community? What do our community members need? What types of questions are they asking? Are they feature requests? Is it product appreciation? Does this person, are they already a champion? Are they feeling recognized as a champion? Do they want to get closer to what we're building here? And so originally it was, community signals. And then as we've evolved with our customers and we've heard more about their biggest pain points, it's really about making sense of all signals in terms of buying signals. So when we're talking about the B2B and technology space, it's really how do these signals, they are telling me that, what are they telling me? And is this person actually value aligned in terms of getting value from our product today? What is their product usage? Are they collaborating with code, especially for people who are in developer-focused communities and developer-focused companies? What are they saying in the community on Discourse, on Slack, in Koros, on Discord? What are they doing on our social media channels? And then how do those go-to-market tools bring all this together, right? Are they enrolled in sequences on Outreach? Are they already in our HubSpot or our Salesforce? How many forms have they filled out? And then what we do is we are able to say like, hey, this is Erica Gooding, right? It's not just user X and disambiguated from user X over here, from user X over here. This person's name is Erica Gooding, and she's actually an excellent lead based on all of the activity that she's taken across all of these different surfaces. And we're able to say, like, is she a PQL, a product qualified lead, right? Based on criteria you set. Is she a community qualified lead based on the types of questions that she's asking, based on the ways she's interacting in the community and answering other people's threads? Is it a high intent account? Is this an account that we know is in our ideal customer profile and is like, they're in that type of industry space, in that market space, at that organizational size, with that team size, that generally gets super deep value out of what we're offering. So we're able to do all of this and help you make sense of your buying signals. And we're able to help you meet your modern buyer wherever it is that they want to meet you. So you're able to focus on who matters, convert faster with deep context, and run prospecting plays all in one place. So all those tools, all those tabs that your buyers were jumping from, now all is brought into Common Room and they can really do their job. So instead of spending 72% of their time on non-selling activity, they can actually focus on the person and say, here is why I would like to sell to you, because here's what I know about what you're trying to solve, and here's what I know our product can do. So as we're giving this pitch, right, we say we enable you to understand the person. You can get more signal and filter out the noise with all of this enrichment matching, what that person is doing in your community, what their sentiment is, what their top topics are, what their product usage is. Are they a power user? How many times have they logged in? How many days active have they been? What kind of trial are they on? What their member details are, who they are as a person, where else they're active across your channels, whether or not that's your community channels, whether or not that's your social channels, and then business details, right? Where do they work? Where have they worked before? What that opportunity size is, right? What type of business and firmographic details they have that we know match other criteria. Then we help make lead and account scoring easy. So you're able to create and to determine all of your criteria, and then we're able to surface that for you. So if it's really important to you to know how many actions they've taken in the product in the last week, we can surface that for you. If you want to know how many times they've been active or inactive, we can surface that for you. If you want to know how many times they've taken an action in community or what types of actions they've taken, we can surface that for you. We give your reps stack ranked views so that they can log in and then they can see, okay, here's my prioritized list of the best excellent leads based on the criteria we know of people who get the most value out of our product. And they can work through all of those at once and say, add this person to this type of outreach sequence, send this person to Salesforce, directly send them a message in Slack, send them an email. And then of course, We don't necessarily in our pitch want to only talk about how we see things. And so we include at least something from one of our customers. And so we talk about Temporal here, and that one of their sales reps has booked over 50% of their meetings now coming from Common Room. And they're high quality calls because he has personalized deep context across all of the channels that he's connected across. And generally, these are actually coming from community channels. And then, of course, we end with a slide we're very proud of, customers that we have built this product with and for, and who are using us, who are using Common Room to tap into their modern buyer journey and to use it as a modern customer journey platform. So then in this pitch, right, we ask for questions, then we give a demo, and then we say thank you. So that's how we open with future customers today. When you're sitting back in your seat of that GTM leader, that sales leader, that revenue leader, that operations leader, that marketing leader who has to make these contextual decisions around what types of products to buy, these are the types of questions that they're looking to solve, right? How do I make my teams more successful in driving pipeline with the information that we have so that we can value align and match with buyers who actually drive our business and our revenue forward? So let's talk about where community fits in. Pop quiz, it's in the name of this event. It fits in everywhere. And I want to talk about really quickly what we've overheard on these calls. And so on these calls with customers, on these calls with future customers, on these calls with prospects, as we're showing them in that demo what is happening in their community, they see things like, wow, we wouldn't have any of these strong signals without our community channels. Or they say things like, oh yeah, we're actually about to close a deal whose call we won because of the context we had from what this person asked in community. People are really starting to understand the importance of community in terms of it being one integral input to that whole customer journey, to that whole buyer journey. And they're saying things like, oh, it's way more than product usage and event registration. And people have said like, oh, wow, really our truest prospects have been interacting in our GitHub and nearly nowhere else. And so here's a community or a repository where people are interacting, where users are interacting that we didn't have visibility into before. And this really determines and helps affect who we're talking to and what we're saying to them and how we're actually aligning on that value with them. So one more time, let's talk about where community fits in. Pop quiz, I think you know the answer this time. It's everywhere. But, and I leave you with this, we have to be our own torchbearers and we have to carry the light. So I have a community call to action for us to carry our light. This is something where I know it's not just on us as a community, as community leaders in the community industry to only educate our stakeholder teams, our organizational leaders. It's also on them, right, to understand that power of community and to really bring these two things together. But for us, what can we do? What can we control as community leaders? Well, we can carry our own light. And so I have five asks of you today. To know your organizational leader's North Star metric. So if you're reporting to that CRO, that CMO, that COO, or your boss's boss, what is their North Star metric? Is it leads? Is it pipeline generation? Is it user acquisition? Is it revenue driving? Is it closed won deals? Is it converted calls? Is it stage 2 calls? What is that? What are they looking at as their North Star metric? And then the stakeholders beneath them or that answer to them that are really supporting that goal, learn what matters to those stakeholders. And we just published a blog post called how to sell community to your sales teams, as well as to your larger partner teams, right? Maybe it's your product team, maybe it's your success team or your support team. And so learn what matters to them. In that blog post, we talk about each of their individual goals. And then we actually have an email template. So if you don't want to start from a blank page, please take the email template, copy, paste it, and then get started from there. Talk to those stakeholders, work backwards from what community can do for them and vice versa, how they help educate them on what they can do to contribute back to the community to make it a really robust, healthy, enduring, sustaining place. And then ultimately use a tool, any tool. There are lots of free tools out there. Common Room has a free version, but honestly, I'm not here to sell that. I really want you to use any tool that enables you to get the information that you need to serve your members best and to drive those ultimate organizational leader business outcomes that you're looking to drive from the company point of view. Any tool, there's tons of free ones out there. Find what works best for you and use it to carry your own light. That is it. Thank you so much. Try us yourself. We're at Common Room. More importantly, please come say hi to the Uncommon community and all of the Uncommon community members on our Uncommon community Slack. Talk to me in the Led by Community community Slack. I'm there. Ask me anything here, there, or everywhere. This has been such a pleasure. So interesting to present from the other side in terms of the community leader point of view, but from the point of view of those GTM leaders. I hope it was useful. Hope it was helpful. And back to you, Victoria.
Hey girl, fabulous job. Thank you so much for walking us through that so transparently and thoroughly. We're almost at time, so there are several questions for you in the main chat, but I'll just grab one for you here. Let's see. Do you also, in your pitch, do you also talk about the before and after states of your existing customers in the pitch? And if so, has that helped with conversion or not?
That's wonderful. That's a wonderful question. Thank you. So in the pitch itself, in that deck that I shared, that's like where we start from, right? We don't talk about the before and after because we do try to spend most of the time on the actual demo and in discovery questions. So if this was a little bit longer, I would have been like, tell me about your community today. Tell me about your revenue pipeline, your pipeline generation today. Tell me about the activities you're doing today and where they're happening. And so we would actually kind of start the pitch based on those discovery questions, and then try to tailor it a little bit more. And so it really depends. What we would say there is we probably say, we could take you through, 2 different instances of a demo and say, here's one customer who has only these types of channels. Here's another customer who has these types of channels. We could talk through people through like comparisons and contrasts. But that'd be something we'd probably follow up more on after the fact, after the original first pitch call.
For sure. Awesome. Thank you so much, Rebecca. You have given your knowledge up freely and wonderfully. So it's super appreciated. I'm really grateful that you were able to be here and take the stage.
I can't wait to learn from everyone else. Thank you so much.
Yes.